welcome to the Badass Breastfeeding Podcast. This is Dianne, your lactation consultant.
And this is Abby, the Badass Breastfeeder. And today's episode is brought to you by Rumble Tough. The Rumble Tough Breeze is a top-of-the-line breast pump with a rechargeable battery that fits in the palm of your hand. We will hear more from our sponsor later, but you can always head to badassbreastfeedingpodcast.com and check out all the amazing things there, including our sponsor page. On our sponsor page, we have all of our sponsors. And if you can give them any of your business, check there. See if you ever need anything, check there. They do make this podcast possible. And we have a ton now. And it's really awesome. And you can just go there and be like, okay, I need this. And you can look through and see if there's one of those that promote the Badass Breastfeeding Podcast. And check out all the other things when you're there too, like all of our other episodes and our shop page and our resources page. We also have our Wall of Fame. That's our patrons. Shout out to the patrons. We have a Wall of Fame with our super badasses and ultra badasses. I believe. I don't know our own.
We don't
tiers.
even know what we're doing.
I don't know what we're saying. It's interesting because we set it all up, and then as it started going, we were like, oh, wait, we need to tweak this and tweak that. And so we're tweaking things a little bit to make it better. But you can go to the link in the show notes under this episode, wherever you're listening from, and you'll go straight to our page, and you'll be able to check out all of the different benefits of the different tiers. And we really hope that you will join us there. There's a lot of fun going on, and including all of our extra episodes and Revolution Parenting episodes. And you get to see our schedule of the podcast ahead of time. You get to make suggestions for episodes. You get to see our big, long, 4-page list of our brains exploding onto a page of ideas and see how that works. So yeah, we hope to see you there. And we're also still holding our ongoing giveaway. So send us a screenshot of your review wherever you leave it on the internet, whether it's iTunes, whether it's Spotify, whether it's stars, whether it's, you can write something. Just take a screenshot and send it to badassbreastfeedingpodcast@gmail.com. And we will send you a goodie bag of stickers and thank you for nursing in public cards. And I believe now Dianne has our review of the week.
I do. Let me pull it up here. I recently found this podcast. I really enjoy the variety of topics. I love hearing them read real mom comments. So far, I have not heard any sketch info that isn't consistent with evidence and research. I'm a night shifter, so sometimes I listen on my way home from work and it keeps me awake. I hope you never hear sketch info on this podcast. Yeah. If anybody ever hears us say something sketchy where we not saying, look, this is sketchy, please let us know because we don't want to be sketchy.
No, we're not. I mean, people have called us sketchy before, but they're wrong.
Yeah.
Yes. That's how it is.
We really try to keep this as evidence-based and informed as possible because we want you guys to have the good information. So we don't want it to be like, I'm just going to make stuff up and, and that's it.
Well, that's the problem. That's why people don't reach their breastfeeding goals because they just have the bad information.
Yeah. So that's why we do myth episodes so that you guys know, here's the sketchy information. Here it is. And this is why it's not true. That's what we like to do here. So thank you so much for doing that. And I hope you got your goodie bag because it's been sent. I was thinking about this yesterday after I was leaving the post office. I was like, I hope everybody's receiving them because I have not heard that nobody's ever emailed us and said, hey, it's been 3 months. Where's my bag?
Oh, yeah, you can. If you haven't gotten it, let us know. Unless it was recent. Because I send Dianne the addresses once a week so that I'm not sending something every day because that's annoying.
Yeah. So give it a couple weeks, but then you should be,
But you read reviews from the screenshots that people are sending?
No, I'm reading them right off of the website. Not the website, the podcast, iTunes.
Oh, but they don't have their addresses.
No. So I'm reading, but I have a system. interrupt my system, and it would be chaos in the world. so I just do what I do. That's all.
Okay. All right. I'll leave it alone. Also, we do have like hundreds of reviews on iTunes. And if you left a review like 2 years ago before we were doing the goodie bag thing, I say send a screenshot and we will just send you a goodie bag.
Why not?
Yeah. Why not? I mean, because you were like one of the OG, like,
I know.
Reviewers.
If you're still listening or you're listening again, you deserve something.
We'll just send you a goodie bag.
I know. You deserve something for listening to us for that long. Because I wish somebody would send me something for listening to us for that long. I need some kind of prize.
I know.
Oh, my goodness. But we are going to talk about baby-led weaning today because a lot of people have asked about this.
Yeah, people keep sending messages. They're like, hey, can you do an episode on baby-led weaning? And honestly, people have been saying that for a while now, and I've been kind of like holding back because like I myself am a little confused about baby-led weaning. So back when I first started the blog, like it was before the podcast and it was just me on Facebook against the internet.
Abby won.
I won. Yep, I kicked the shit out of everyone and then left. No, I'm still there, sort of. But I was like really into everything. You know, I was really into, like I said last episode, I was like Crunchy Mama. I was going on and on about like just everything, not just breastfeeding. It was like, you know, the sleep stuff and the whatever. So what I found out in that was that this, like, I think that was like around baby-led weaning started to get really popular around then. This was like 10 or 12 years ago. And it was just like a thing, like everyone was talking about like baby-led weaning, we're doing baby-led weaning, spoons of the devil. And like, you know, I remember seeing an episode of Dr. Phil where he had like, I can't remember, the episode was just like extreme parenting or something. And I can't remember what the other things were, but it was somebody there who practices what they said was baby-led weaning. And then they had like Dr. Phil and then some experts, you know, on the panel or whatever, like weighing in. And this was a person who was like, they showed the person giving their babies like in a chair or whatever, and they're handing them like a drumstick.
My God.
Like a chicken, like a chicken leg. And the baby is just like mouthing on it and blah, blah, blah. And, one of the ladies was like, one of the experts, was like, this is really dangerous. There's like just a choking hazard and yada, yada. And everyone laid into this lady. And I'm like, is this baby-led weaning? Because I don't know. Is this baby-led weaning? I don't know if that's necessarily what baby-led weaning truly is like defined as. Like the way I understand it is like, we're trying to focus on like family meal, fine motor skills, enjoyment around eating. Like, yeah, we're putting food in front of our baby and letting them feed themselves, basically.
Right. And
I don't know, a drumstick. I know, because there's a whole thing. It's like, just give them a chunk of food and let them go at it. It's fine. I don't know. I don't know if that's baby-led weaning or if it was just like this kind of extreme, like, because everything's got an extreme wing, I know.
And that sounds like it was a little extreme, like that she was on the more extreme end of baby-led weaning.
Yeah.
So I can read what I got here. And this comes from Solid Starts, and they were one of our sponsors.
Oh, yeah. See, I was thinking about them because I was like, they have such good information about, and their like sponsorship is over. So I'm not like paid to say this. I was at one time, but I only say things I truly believe. They have such good information.
They do.
And they have like really great information about choking, and like there's a whole they have like a whole guide to like an app. They have an app too. Anyway, go ahead.
Yeah,
what do they say?
They got a lot of stuff. So it says baby-led weaning is a method of introducing solid foods to babies, whereas whereby purees and spoon feeding are skipped entirely in favor of finger foods that a baby self-feeds. Coined by Gil Rapley, a former public health nurse in the UK, baby-led weaning, or baby-led feeding as it's sometimes referred to, offers parents a way to bypass the idea of baby food entirely. Growing in popularity, baby-led weaning is particularly popular with parents who want to avoid raising picky eaters. Well, who wants to raise a picky eater? Who's going to be like, oh, I don't want to do this. I would rather my child be picky. And that's, I mean, come on, it's so hard to have a picky eater. As well as parents who subscribe to Montessori-type philosophies of child rearing where children are encouraged to be self-sufficient. At its core, baby-led weaning emphasizes independence of the baby. A parent is to wait for their baby to show signs of readiness for eating and to follow the baby's cues in all matters of introducing solid foods. Babies are brought to the table for family meals, encouraged to pick up food with their own fingers, trusted to eat as much or as little as they need. Babies introduced to solid with baby-led weaning also continue to breast or bottle feed and are permitted to determine when those milk feeds should be reduced. So basically, you're letting your baby run the show, which is kind of like one of the things that I like about baby-led weaning is that your baby is still in control of their feeds. Just like breastfeeding. When they're breastfeeding, they're in control of their feeding, right? They take as much as they want. You have no idea how much they're taking. They take what they want. They eat when they want. They're very much in control of it. And then all of a sudden you start solids and you stick them in a high chair and you're spoon feeding them. And now they don't have control over that feeding anymore. So this is still a way for them to stay in control of their feeds. And I just like that idea for them.
Yeah, I like the idea too. I like the idea of like fine motor skill development too, because like picking up a pea or a Cheerio or whatever, like really requires like some serious fine motor skills that babies just don't have. And they're like so fun to watch do that, try to pick it up and try to find their mouth. And it's a whole thing where that's the whole idea, I think, is like, this is how they're learning. This is just a part of the like learning process. They're developing fine motor skills. They're developing an understanding of different kinds of foods. They're feeling different textures. They're, like you said, they're in control of that whole entire process. Instead of, just here's the airplane, let me try to trick you into taking this food.
Spoonful, yeah.
And a spoonful of food, which usually just ends up down the front of their mouth anyway. And, you even see people like, they'll put like birthday cake on a fork and bring it up to their baby's mouth, have them open it, and then they sneak the baby food into their mouth.
Ew.
I know.
Really? Oh my gosh.
Because it's like, we have to get this baby to eat. You have to eat. You have to eat this jar of baby food. And I like it's baby-led weaning because you don't have to, there's no pressure. It's like the baby is still getting their nutrients from breast milk or formula. And this is the beginning of a really long process of them learning how to pick up food, put it in their mouth, be able to get it to the back of their mouth, and be able to swallow it. And that's like years.
Yeah.
We don't think of it that way, though. We're just like, here, you start solids. Here's the spoon. Eat it.
And people are like deathly afraid of their baby choking. And I think we don't have a lot of information around choking. I'm glad that Solid Starts put some stuff up about choking. I had a really good video once. I don't know if I can find it. I'll try, but I don't know if I know where it is. Where the difference between a baby choking and a baby just coughing. Because some people don't really know the difference. And there is a huge difference between those things. And your baby, sometimes even giving them like purees, they're going to be like, like if it's not something that they're.
I mean, that's, the gag reflex is just very present. And that's what's keeping them from choking.
Yeah. If they're not used to it, if it's a texture they don't like, like if it's something like that, you might see them do that over just, something that isn't choke worthy. And there really is a huge difference between choking and just coughing. But I wouldn't be comfortable giving my kid a chicken leg, like a drumstick. I don't even know if I'd be comfortable with that right now. and they're way past choking age. But I don't know. Yeah, I don't know. Yeah. And then there's like different things. And we did an episode on solids a few weeks ago, and like myths that go along with solids foods, right? And one of them was like seasoning their food. And I remember saying to a pediatrician one time, like, do you support baby led weaning? And well, the first thing they said was, what's that? So, I mean, if you're talking about solids with your pediatrician, be prepared that they might not really be able to appreciate what baby led weaning is if they haven't heard it. Yeah, if they haven't heard of it. And I explained what it was. I was just like, it's just like letting your baby giving what you eat to your baby and just letting them like pick it up and eat on their own. She's like, oh yeah, absolutely. Except I wouldn't season that food. Make sure there's no extra salt and seasoning on that food. But we know from the myths episode that they can't, that's not really.
But the high fructose corn syrup in the baby jar is fine.
Right. Exactly.
Or whatever the hell else is in there. Yeah. I mean, the other thing about baby led weaning that is promoted in the, the kind of definitions of it is that this is also a time for they're learning how to eat. They're learning all of the things that go along with eating, not just in a day, but over years. But they're also becoming accustomed to how eating happens in your house and how, and baby led weaning wants that to be like a joyful thing. This is how we do it. We come together, we eat together. This is what we eat. Not like this is a baby, so they have to have their separate, like, weird food, that we wouldn't even eat. And
right.
But they just have what we have. Like today we're having spaghetti and meatballs. Okay, so you can like cut off a little meatball with all the seasonings and everything in it and let them try it.
Mm-hmm.
And put it in front of them. Not a whole meatball. I don't think I wouldn't put a whole meatball in front of them.
No,
but I would cut a couple of pieces up and let them look at it, let them smell it, let them smear it around, let them try to get it in their mouth, watch them try to pick it up. It's really funny because they can't yet. And like, just, let them get to know eating in their new family.
So let's take a break, and then I've got a whole list of benefits behind letting your baby self-feed.
Cool. All right, we will be right back. Today's episode is brought to you by Rumble Tough. The Rumble Tough Breeze is a top-of-the-line breast pump with a rechargeable battery that fits in the palm of your hand. The powerful motor lasts over 2,000 hours and has a 2-year warranty. The memory button allows you to record your most effective pumping session and recall it anytime you wish. Combine the Breeze with the Rumble Tough Go cups and you're pumping hands-free and on the go. Every Rumble Tough pump user qualifies for free pumping support with an IBCLC. Because they care, each pump comes with a manual handle kit to convert your electric pump into a manual pump at no extra cost. You should not have to figure it out alone. Let experts help you get the support you deserve. Additionally, every pump box includes a flange fit ruler, so you can determine which of the 15 flanges they offer will fit you best, because nipple size does matter. Check out their entire line at rumbletough.com. That's RUMBLETUFF.com. And use code BADASS for 20% off of your purchase. And today's sponsor and their promo code can be found in the show notes under this episode, wherever you're listening from. You can also head to Badass Breastfeeding Podcast and look under the show notes under this episode over there as well. And over at badassbreastfeedingpodcast.com, you will find all of our other episodes, and you will find information about scheduling your very own one-on-one online lactation consultation with Dianne.
Yeah. So some benefits of letting your baby self-feed. First one listed is independence, that baby learns to eat independently and is in total control. And we just that's what we were just saying. It's really nice for your baby to have total control over feeding themselves. They do have, so one of the pictures on here too, I should say this, on this blog, and I'll link this in the show notes, but it's got like a couple of different foods up here. There's like a banana, a piece of avocado, and they're shaped like a finger. They're not like in round chunks that your baby is going to choke on. They're shaped like, like tall and skinny so that they can pick it up and kind of like chomp on it a little bit.
Yeah.
It's not like, don't like, cut your baby's food up in a circle and be like, oh, this is a perfect size of your throat. Let me put this in,
Let's just plug that up right now.
Yeah. So, I mean, there's definitely ways to do it where you can feel comfortable with what your baby is taking too. Development, baby practices critical motor and oral skills. So that is really important too. Like Abby keeps saying, like, this is a great time for them to kind of start using those. And you're not supposed to be feeding your baby. Babies aren't supposed to be getting solids until they're showing some of those signs of fine motor skills anyway. So this is a great way. We're not like, we're encouraging those fine motor skills and we're honing those fine motor skills. So they should already be starting at that point, right? For you to be introducing solids, we want your baby to be able to sit up well, so their neck is not flopping down and they're not flopping down. And we want them to be able to start already using those fine motor skills. You're not getting that at 4 months. That's too soon. We're not seeing those things.
Yeah.
It's more like after 6 months that we're seeing these things happening. And by the way, the American Academy of Pediatrics says 6 months. I don't know why everybody's telling people 4 months.
I know. They keep telling people 4 months. And it's like for many reasons, not just this reason. Their bodies and their stomachs, their guts are not ready for it. They're supposed to just have breast milk for the first 6 months. That's all.
Appetite control. Baby is in charge of how much to eat and learns to stop when full. And like I was saying in the beginning, that's one of the things that I really liked about it is that babies have full control over their feeding. And this is a skill they take with them for the rest of their lives. That is one of the things I really like about breastfeeding too, is that they have that ability to learn their cues, learn when they're full, eat when they're hungry, and stop when they're full. This is one of the things that they develop when they're breastfeeding, and they continue on doing that when they can choose how they want to keep feeding. And they're in control of their feeds, and they take this with them forever. This is one of the reasons why you don't as much see obese babies. It's one of the things, they're not overfed early on. So it really does help with that. And they do it forever. Like it's with them forever. Ease, babies mostly eat what you eat, and you're not making like these special meals, which is really kind of nice. Just give them what you're eating. And they're used to what flavors your food anyway, because they get that through the breast milk. So they're going to be more likely to be encouraged to eat that. And they're going to want to eat that more because they've already tasted all those flavors too.
Yeah.
Baby can eat a variety of textures and flavors, which may reduce picky eating later on. So they're getting exposed to a lot more stuff too. They're not just like, oh, okay, we're eating this whole meal, but I can only give you some veggies because that's what the chart says right now to do. I have to start with veggies, and then I could move to fruits, and then I could move to meats. Like we see that all the time, that there's this guideline of routine that you're supposed to be giving your baby. It doesn't need to work like that. You can just give them whatever it is that you're eating, and they're getting more variety that way. Less expensive. Baby eats real food, not the jars, pouches, or blenders. No jars, pouches, or blenders required, which I think is kind of cute, and we know like those baby food is expensive. All of those specialty things, all of that stuff is expensive. So if you don't have to do that, that's great. That we've seen the cereals get recalled.
Oh God. Yeah.
I mean, now you don't have to worry about it if it's stuff that you're just kind of eating on your own. I mean, and really, I tell people this too. Like, would you eat something that you wouldn't feed to your baby, or like would you eat something that you would feed to your baby? Like, you should want to eat everything that goes to your baby.
Yeah,
you shouldn't want your baby to eat something that you're not going to eat.
Right, and again, like this is supposed to be something that we're doing together. Like, I know it's not a big thing in our culture, but in many cultures, like mealtime is like very important. You don't miss it. It's family time. It's, a celebration. It's all of these things. And like, that's like, we could have that if we just like enjoy eating and Why we don't want why we don't I don't yeah, like why would I want to feed something to my baby that or to somebody else that I don't want to eat? That's not really doesn't go along with like eating together.
No. And if you're not willing to eat pureed food, I mean, I don't know that you should give it to your baby. The concept of pureed meats just grosses me out.
Yeah, I know. It's weird.
But if you're not willing to give it to if you're not willing to eat it, don't give it to your baby. Same goes with lots of different stuff. Family meals, baby is part of your family meal and sitting and eating with you. Dining out, it's easier to eat in restaurants because the baby can just eat what you're eating. I see that in restaurants all the time. It's so cute.
Yeah.
Well, the baby's just like sitting there and people are just like giving them whatever, whatever's on their tray too, or whatever's on their plate. Just give some of it to the baby.
Yeah.
It's just easy. And it's more fun. Babies enjoy touching, inspecting, tasting different flavors and different textures. While our preferred mode of introducing solids, which is finger foods first, builds on the wisdom of baby-led weaning, it offers a bit more flexibility. For example, with a finger food first approach, you can enjoy a combination of feeding methods with an emphasis on letting your baby self-feed for a variety of textures and flavors. So that is another thing that you can do too, because sometimes people will do a combination of both. If they're not like super comfortable with baby-led weaning, they can do a combination of things too. You don't have to stick with just only one thing. It doesn't have to be one or the other. You don't have to be like, okay, I said I'd start baby-led weaning, but now I can never give anything by spoon. We're not saying that. You can do a little bit of both. There's wiggle room here.
Right. And I think that's the other cool thing about this is that there's not like hard, fast, solid rules.
Right.
Like it's just, this is a whole process, a whole transition from breast milk to solid foods. It's years. And it's just, it's going to highly depend on what your norms are in your family.
Mm-hmm. Absolutely. And a lot of this might be, kind of cultural, what you want to do, as far as what goes on in your family. Maybe you are somebody where the family meal really is important to you and you want to do that. And it is important to know too, like baby-led weaning, that doesn't mean that you stop giving them, that they're going to stop breastfeeding. And I think that kind of is a little scary of a word, baby-led weaning. It sounds like your baby's not going to breastfeed.
Right. Yeah. Anymore. It sounds like you're starting the weaning process.
Yeah.
But I mean, technically you are. It's just not going to happen right now. It's a whole long process. We think of weaning as like, okay, I have to wean. I have to stop by Tuesday. Weaning is just kind of like a whole thing that starts when they start incorporating more solid foods.
And now I've got another website here that I was looking at that talks about just that. It says the term weaning isn't used to mean a quick transition away from breast milk or formula. All weaning is meant to complement breast milk or formula intake and to slowly transition your baby to a solid foods diet. Until then, breast milk and or formula remain the primary source of nutrition until 1 year of age. And it's important not to reduce these feeding once solids are introduced. So that is also kind of different from what we hear a lot. A lot of times, like I just had somebody recently, we just talked about this in the physiological care episode not that long ago. I had a client whose baby was 9 months old and was told that her baby only needs like 16 ounces of milk a day, that the rest should be solid foods. And that is obviously not correct information because your baby until a year of age, their primary food is still breast milk or formula, whichever you're choosing to do, or a mixture of both. It shouldn't be that all of a sudden they started solids at 6 months and they don't need the milk anymore. That's not it at all.
Yeah.
So we want your babies to start, being able to do that. When should they start baby-led weaning? Baby-led weaning should begin at 6 months to ensure that the baby's digestive and immune systems have enough time to properly develop. Additionally, your baby should show the following signs of readiness before beginning baby-led weaning. They should sit up independently with good head and neck control, loss of the tongue reflex. So you know how like your baby's doing that tongue thrusting? That's a reflex. And that usually goes away after 4 months. I've had people that started solids at 4 months and said that, oh, the baby just pushes it out of their mouth anyway. They're not really taking in much. They can't help it. It's a tongue thrusting reflex. To keep them from choking, they don't need to have it that early. So they're thrusting it out of their mouth. Like that's them saying, I don't really want food right now. That's their body not
I don't know what to do with
it.
My body doesn't.
Yeah, my body is, their body doesn't know what to do with it yet. They can bring other things towards their mouth. They're bringing toys or other objects to their mouth. So they're already chewing on things. They're already bringing their hands to their mouth. They're already bringing toys, teethers, things like that to their mouth. And they're showing a little bit of an interest in table foods. Just because your baby's watching you eat at 3 months of age does not mean that they're ready to start solids. They have to have all of these things in play. They have to be able to sit up straight. Not sit up straight, but you know what I mean? Like, not like slapping the rules down on them. Sit up straight. They have to be able to sit up independently and have that good head control. And starting slow. Don't throw a whole bunch of food at them to start. Definitely start slow with small amounts of things. If you're eating a meal with like chicken and potatoes and green beans, give them a little bit of potatoes, give them a little bit of green beans, just give them a little bit of stuff that you think they can handle. They can kind of mash around, play with different textures, different feels, different, all of that stuff. And definitely take their time with it. It's not something that they need. Remember, they have months to figure this out.
Years.
Months and months. Years. Yes.
I mean,
lots of
like
time.
I've said a million times, Jack didn't really even take a lot of food in until he was 2. But that's just how it goes. Some kids take to it really quickly, and some it takes a really long time. So it's not really about how much they're eating. It's just about exposing them to it.
Yeah.
Letting them play, and that's the very Montessori thing. Just let them play, let them do what they need to do to figure it out.
Now, this website also has the top 6 benefits of baby-led weaning, which are basically all the same as the other ones that I read to you, except this one does say may lower the risk of obesity. This approach may lower the risk of obesity later in life due to baby-led weaning infants' greater ability to regulate hunger and fullness cues. In fact, studies show toddlers who were weaned using baby-led weaning had a lower BMI and incidence of obesity than those who were traditionally spoon-fed. They were also less likely to eat in response to food stimuli, saying being offered a snack at a sporting event if they weren't hungry. I just love that.
And I don't have
something
that.
I don't have.
I definitely don't.
Yeah.
I know. And I think there are ways for people to mindfully eat, as we say. If we give them the opportunity to just learn about their bodies, learn about food, learn about their bodies, and let them stay connected to it without interfering. And then you see, my kids, I see them do this all the time. Exley will go, we'll go out for ice cream. Everybody's really excited. He's halfway through his ice cream cone and he's like, I don't want any more.
I've seen my kids do that too. Yeah.
What the hell are you talking about?
I know. And then I'll
have mine and the rest of yours. Exactly.
I know. Yeah. It's
because
I don't.
My body probably said it was full, but I don't know. I don't hear it.
Oh no, I don't. I drown that out totally.
Yeah. So that's really cool to just be able to, just be aware of your body in that way and to just be mindful like that. That's cool. And that's really healthy.
But they've got this, and I'll link this website in too, because they even give different foods that you can start with, food ideas of things to start with, because who doesn't want some food ideas to start with?
Mm-hmm.
That really, foods to avoid, things that you should be avoiding. So there's some really good information if you know where to look. There's a lot of really crazy information.
Yeah, see, that's the problem is there's a lot of crazy information out there about this.
Yeah.
So, yeah, I don't know.
Yeah, this is even gives a little 6-month baby-led weaning food chart sample schedule. Breakfast, scrambled egg cut into strips, avocado cut into strips, strawberries cut into strips. And then it tells you and that's when your baby's 6 months old. Once they get a little older, it gives you an idea of other things that you could try with them and whatever. So, I mean, this is a cool website too.
I remember,
so
that's not Solid Starts though, right?
No, that's a different one. Solid Starts has a lot of that too.
They have a lot of that too. And I have their app, and I remember looking at the app and I was getting meal ideas. It's not what it's for, but I was oh, that sounds really, I might make that for dinner.
I know, it's really cool. So so just it is important to know where to get the good information, but give it a try. And like you said, you don't have to do, if you're already doing spoon feeding, but you want to get into baby led weaning, do a little bit of it, start giving your baby a little bit of stuff to kind of handle on their own and see how it goes. See if you notice that they do better with that than with actually spoon feeding them.
Yeah. I mean, any way to take the battle out of it, right? It's got to be helpful.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah. Well, that's it.
Thanks for listening.
Thank you. Bye.
Bye.